Paul, have you ever felt like you're standing at the edge of a promise, but all you can see is an ending? That's where we begin today, in Parashat Chayei Sarah. The title means, The Life of Sarah. Yet it opens not with life, but with her death. Abraham stands at the sunrise of a new era, but he's shrouded in the sorrow of burying his beloved wife. The year's like the end of a chapter, the closing of a book. But the sages teach us something profound. Sarah's spirit didn't die. It lived on, woven into the choices of the next generation. The Torah invites us into this space between grief and hope, to see how faith endures, especially when everything familiar begins to fade away. The first test of this enduring faith falls upon Abraham, Hemas, by a burial plot for Sarah, the cave of Machpelah. The Midrash Rabbah tells us that as he negotiated, the local nations mocked him. "You call yourself a prince of God," they sneered. "Then why are you paying full price for this land?" But Abraham's faith wasn't about getting a good deal. It was about honoring a divine promise. He paid the exorbitant price, not just for a piece of land, but for a foothold in the future God had sworn to him. He was planting a seed of permanence in the soil of his sorrow. In the mystical tradition of Kabbalah, this cave is seen as more than just a tomb. It's a portal between worlds, a gateway connecting the physical and the spiritual. Abraham's act teaches us that true faith isn't about what we can see or bargain for. 2. The conviction to invest everything in a promise that sees beyond the finality of death itself. Trusting that what is planted in grief will one day bloom into legacy. With Sarah laid to rest, Abraham faces his next great act of faith, letting go. He must secure a future for his son, Isaac, which means sending his trusted servant Eliezer on a long and uncertain journey to find him a wife. Imagine the weight on Eliezer's shoulders. He's tasked with finding the right woman to become the next matriarch, the mother of a holy nation. The Gemara praises Eliezer's prayer at the well, not for its eloquence, but for its practicality. This is a faith that lives in the real world, a faith that speaks to God in the middle of everyday uncertainty. He doesn't ask for a booming voice from the heavens or a bolt of lightning. He asks for a simple, human sign, an act of kindness. "Let the young woman who not only offers me a drink," he prays, "but also offers to water my 10 camels. Let her be the one you have chosen for Isaac." He was looking for a heart of generosity, a spirit of service. Dear sir, it's a powerful lesson. Sometimes the greatest miracles are disguised as simple acts of kindness. And then, she appears. Rivka, a young woman, possibly just a teenager, who sees a stranger and his exhausted camels and doesn't hesitate. She runs. The Midrash Tanchuma notes her speed, saying it revealed a prophetic spirit, an inner knowing that this was a moment of destiny. She doesn't just fulfill Eliezer's request. She exceeds it, drawing water again and again until all 10 camels have drunk their fill. From a woman's perspective, Rivka's story is a profound teaching. She is alone, among strange men, far from the protection of her family. Yet, she acts with courage and compassion. The Kabbalists see her picture as a vessel of chest. Levinka Nissen, overflowing love that has the power to water even the most barren and thirsty hearts. Her story reminds us that revelation isn't always a dramatic vision from on high. Sometimes, it's found in the quiet, resolute courage to step forward and say, "I will go." It's the faith to serve without knowing the full story. Trusting that your small act of kindness is part of a much larger, divine plan, too. This brings me to a time when my own faith was tested. A few years ago, it felt like every door was slamming shut. My plans were crumbling. Job applications went unanswered. The bills were piling up, and hope was wearing thin. I felt like Eliezer at that well, parched and uncertain. I prayed for a sign, any sign that things would turn around. But all I heard was silence. The days turned into weeks, and the silence grew louder. I felt abandoned, lost in a desert of my own making. Then one morning, exhausted from waiting, I decided to act. I decided to be my own Rivka. Instead of waiting for a miracle, I would create movement. I sent out one more application, not with hope, but with sheer determination. I made a conscious choice to speak with kindness to the people around me, even when all I felt was frustration. And on that very same day, a door creaked open. It wasn't a floodgate, just a crack of light. I got a call back for an interview. It wasn't the job, but it was a start. And in that moment, I realized something powerful. Faith isn't passively waiting for the miracle to arrive. It's actively drawing water while the camels are still thirsty. It's taking the next step, even in the dark. So, did I win that test of faith? I believe I did. Not because I got a job or my problems magically vanished, but because I learned that faith is a muscle, not a medal. It's not a prize you get at the end, it's the strength you build with every single repetition, every act of trust, every step forward into the unknown. Each time you stretch it, it gets stronger. The story of Chayei is a timeless reminder of this truth. The promise to Abraham took generations to unfold. It required Abraham's costly purchase, Leah's faithful journey, and Rivka's courageous action. It shows us that God's timing rarely aligns with our own impatient desires, but it never, ever fails. Our role is to keep moving, to keep serving, to keep trusting through the long, quiet seasons of waiting. So, when your own faith feels buried deep in a cave of sorrow or uncertainty, when the promises you're holding on to seem distant and delayed, remember the lessons of Chayei. Remember that new life, new generations, and new hope rise from the soil of tested trust. May we all find the strength, like Abraham, to invest in a future we cannot see. May we, like Rivka, find the courage to keep walking, to keep serving, and to keep drawing water, until our faith finally becomes sight. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more inspiration.